So this Snare Saturday video is going to be a bit different than all of the other ones, because rather than showing you one drum and maybe why you should get it, it's time to finally compare two different types of snare drums. So in this video, I am going to be comparing two identical drums from the same species of wood, but one is a ply shell and the other one is a steam bent solid. What is going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video, it's time to finally compare the differences between a ply shell and a steam bent solid shell. This video will allow you to hear the tonal differences between those two different shell constructions, so you can make that decision on whether or not one is more preferred than the other. Now, before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. So you may have noticed a little bit of a trend with the snare drums that I have in my collection. They're either from Ludwig or this brand MCD, which stands for Mastercrafted Drums, which was a small drum boutique based out of Philadelphia. MCD is a brand that specializes in steam bent solid drums, and I used to assist with building and assembling them. So in this video, I am going to be showing you two drums that are both 6.5 by 14, that is depth by diameter, and both are made out of beechwood. Also, both drums were individually featured in this Snare Saturday series. But in this video, we're going to compare them one right after the other. So the first snare drum is the Ludwig Universal Series 6.5 by 14 beechwood snare. The other one is the MCD 6.5 by 14 solid beechwood snare drum. Since both of them are 6.5 by 14 and both of them are beechwood, as well as both of them having 10 lugs and both of them having 2.3 millimeter triple flange hoops, they are pretty close to one another. Now, there are some subtle differences, besides the fact that one is steam bent solid and the other one is ply construction. The Ludwig Universal Snare Drum has the Ludwig P88i throw-off, as well as the P35 butt plate, and the MCD Solid Beechwood has a Trick 3-position throw-off, as well as Trick's butt plate as well. Now, although both drums technically have 10 tube lugs, the Ludwig has your traditional double-sided tube lug, whereas the MCD has cast lugs from All-Star Lugs. This means that those lugs are just a little bit denser and heavier. Also, the MCD Solid Beechwood has a set of World Max German snare wires, where the Ludwig has your traditional Ludwig snare wires. One final thing, the MCD snare drum has a 45-degree interior cut with a slight round over on the outside, where according to Ludwig's website, the Universal Beech snare drum has a standard 45-degree bearing edge. Now, both of these snare drums have identical drum head setups, which I just put on these drums so we can get as even of a comparison as possible. And those heads are a set of Remo Ambassador X Codits on the top and Remo Ambassador snare sides on the bottom. So for this video, I am going to put these drums through a few different tunings. However, I'm going to make sure that each drum is tuned exactly the same. And to be completely transparent with all of you, I don't use something like a tune bot or a tuning mechanism device to help me with that. I just use my ear. So once I find the one drum with a specific pitch, I will get the other one to match it, and then we go from there. Throughout the tuning process, however, the bottom heads are going to be tuned the same, which I tune to a tabletop tension. Once again, I don't go for a specific note, pitch, or use a tuning device to determine what the hertz is or the tension is on the drum. Now, while I'm in each specific tuning, I will start out with one drum and then transfer over to the other. I will start out with the Ludwig Universal Beechwood snare drum first, and then go over to the MCD Solid Beechwood snare drum. So, enough of me talking, let's dive in. So the first thing that I noticed before I did any of the tuning, obviously I start out in the low tuning with all of this, and I could get a lower fundamental note from the solid shell over the ply construction. That meant that I had to tune the MCD Solid Beach up a little bit to get to the lowest possible tuning of the Ludwig Universal Beechwood snare drum. Once again, because I wanted to show you all the comparison while they have the same notes and pitches. I also noticed that with the Solid Beechwood snare drum, I could get a little bit higher without the drum starting to choke out. Now that's one thing a lot of folks talk about with steam bent solid snare drums. They give you a broader tuning range because of the construction of them. It's one piece of wood that is steam bent, and the only glue is the scarf joint where the two ends are connected, as well as the re-rings that are attached to the top and bottom. When you're dealing with ply construction, you have very thin plies of wood that are glued together. So you have these barriers of glue in between them, which could affect the sound. Either way, I would love to get your feedback and what you thought of this, and maybe what your preferred sound was, so make sure that you leave it in the comment section below, letting me know. And even if that means that you preferred the sound of one over the other in a specific tuning, that's fine too. You don't have to pick one of them over the other. Because let's face it, drummers love snare drums and you can never have too many of them. Also, if you have any additional questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section below as well, and I'll try my best to answer them. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. That way it makes it a little bit easier for others to find it. Now, if you wanted to see some of the earlier videos from the Snare Saturday series, I put a link to the playlist in the description below, and I will also have it pop up right here for you to check out. So if you are interested in seeing the videos where I am showcasing each drum individually, you're going to have the ability to do so. You might be hearing some additional tunings as well. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on comparing a ply to a steam bent solid drum shell. And until next time, see you later.